And we are live. Excuse me, the puffer. I just run up the stairs for a much needed pee. Good evening, Jen. How are you? Who else we got in here? 5, 6. Stitch, good evening. Stitch, resist. We've got audio up there. We don't need an echo. I suppose I better say good evening to Mrs. W, hadn't I?
And I better say hello to Jen. Sorry, Jen.
Well, as I said in the video yesterday, bit of an update on my health. Good evening, Marines. I had to go in Monday for my regular blood whatnot. Good evening, Scar. And apparently the treatment's been working alongside the meds that I've been taking. The blood isn't still right. It's still what it is. It's still the polycythemia. But at the moment, it's leveled out. So I've been switched to bi-monthly tests and treatment now, which means less trips to the hospital. Use a bit crackly. Do you want to say something? See if it might be my voice.
Well, you are crackly.
Oh, well, there you go then. Yeah, it's my throat. Could be the new steroids, or it could be the fact that I had a cigarette a little while back instead of the vape. So we'll have to see how that goes. But yeah, good news on that. It's not getting any better. They said it wouldn't, but the audio is crackly.
Am I crackling as well, Stitch? Is anybody else getting that?
It might be just my voice, Stitch. It does it now and again. But yeah, it's evened itself out. So hopefully
you'll live.
I'll live for a bit longer anyway. It's in the background. Why would it be in the...
Not cooking.
There's the odd click from my chair. Yeah, it might be your phone. Yeah, Scar says this is okay. So it might be your phone, Stitch. If you got the volume up too high, that would do it. But yeah, I'm saying that about my health. Tomorrow, I've got my heart scans. God knows what they're going to find there. They found something wrong with every fucking else they've looked at. So
maybe your holes come back.
Yeah, maybe my holes opened up again. But anyway, yeah, what's new now with the weapons grade dicks in the shit shower in the House of Power? Don't you, Stitch? Well, they've announced their next thieving spree. 26th of November. The evening moon, which I believe is a Wednesday. Why they're calling it an autumn one. I mean, I've always classed November as fucking winter, especially at the end of it. But no, also Comrade Starmer had a bit to say when he was questioned about the Graham Lynham arrest. Well, obviously, everybody knows there was no need for 5 armed coppers to basically meet what is a comedian off a fucking plane for a couple of tweets. All right, the tweets were close to the mark, but he very, very... Ginger's already been nicking. Oh, I've got something to say about that, Scar. Don't you worry. he said, because it was a question on free speech, freedom of expression, obviously. Well, Graham has now said he's going to sue the Met Police for wrongful arrest, and rightly so. But he went on deflecting from the subject. He said, what we want is the police reacting to real crime on the streets. Well, that coming from the fucking dickhead, good evening, Steve, that actually put these things in place to persecute people for free speech, taking up police time, absolutely wasting it. Yeah, he's nothing but a fuck. Everything he says, he's a hypocrite. You know, I mean, he started slagging Farage off for not being at PMQs today because he's off talking to American Congress, as it happens, on free speech. Now, how many fucking times has the prick himself been missing through PMQs? Again, hypocritical. It's I mean, and another one he come out with was they're going to continue using the ECHR laws, legislation, rules, whatever you want to call them. Yeah, he does stitch every time something blows up in his face. Well, they all did it when the migrant crisis blew up during the recess. They should have been called back to fucking start it, not just carry on. But yeah, he's using the ECHR all the time. Yeah, well, we know what he's using it for. He's using it so lawyers can actually come up with absolute bullshit excuses not to deport people. Now, what I say is go and look at the ECHR, because it absolutely says you have the right to protest. And there's also stuff in there about free speech. Let's start using it against them. Use the law they like to use against them. You know, the human rights, it's long-winded, but I'm sure there's plenty in there. Yeah, Jen, I personally don't think it's far off. It usually starts with the patriotic wave, as they like to call it. I'd like to see it turn into a tsunami of putting the flags up. You know, that's just a start. Now, the thing is, if people want to go hands-on and actually physically fight back against this shit, then they've got to be prepared to carry it through. You know, you look at any battle, any war, any revolution, any uprising, there are casualties on both sides. So once you've started, win or lose, you've got to carry it on through. Now, have Brits got the balls to do that? I would say there are many that have. The big telling factor would be whether the government, the police are in quantity, they're out of the equation, because they wouldn't even stop one city's worth of the population rising up all at once, let alone the whole fucking country. But it's the army. Now, obviously, numbnuts would declare martial law, which would put the armed forces on our streets. Would they fire on the Brits, on their own people? That's a matter for debate. I do know ex-servicemen and serving personnel that I have put that question to. And I get a few different reactions. But on the whole, in my opinion, this is my opinion, YouTube, Big Brother, hello in the background. In my opinion, I don't think they would. If they're decent guys and they're British guys, I don't think they would. But we ain't going to know unless it happens, unfortunately. But yeah, on the flags. Now, the police have been going round pulling them down. People have been slagging it off, saying it's fucking racist. Now, did anybody else hear what Starmer had to say about it in the House today? Put yes or no, if most of you have seen it or heard it. It's only a 30-second clip, then I won't put it on. Yeah, some are saying it's a hate crime. But I will, let me get it up. That sounds rude, doesn't it? Prime Minister. Right. Now I can't see the comments why this is playing, so right. Now if you can't hear the audio, let me know. Oh, I've got to press it over there, not here.
Well, can I thank him? I share his pride in our country's flag. It represents our history, our heritage, and our values. And that's why we display it. And I was the Labour leader that put the Union Jack on the membership card for the Labour Party. I'm very proud to do so. It belongs to all of us. We should be proud of it and value it.
Now, so those that are saying we're racist for showing our country's flag, go and tell the Prime Minister he is also a racist. Now that coming from the person who has basically instructed the police and give them free hand to arrest anybody that's flying them. Okay, they don't arrest a lot of people, but it shouldn't be happening. It should not be happening. It's absolutely fucking ridiculous. It really is. Oh dear. Oh. Sorry about that. It's a hate crime. Treasonous clown. Yeah, exactly, Stitch. Yeah, and that's what you get if you join all the dots up, Moo, as I've been saying for the last few years. They tried to bring it in before under the guise of a COVID passport or a jab passport. Didn't work, did it? And basically, once they've got that in, once you've got a national ID card, we're fucked. Basically. Absolutely fucked. Now, to me, let me just make sure I cover shit up here. My driving licence. Guess what it's got on it there, look. That's all I need.
Union Jack.
I mean, how
Sorry, Union flag.
Yours behind all this. Now, how the hell is going to digital ID card going to stop the boats?
Well, they're not going to be able to go in because they're not going to have a card.
Because they're not going to have a card. Now, anybody employing a foreigner, by law, is supposed to check their immigration or residential status, all backed up with paperwork. Yeah, you have to do 3 years military service to get on. Oh, hello, loafer. It's and personally, everything like what they're doing with the banks and everything else, I'm sure that breaks some privacy laws somewhere down the line. You know, you just got to reject digital ID. Once they've got that, that activates everything else they want and other things they put in place. The only way you're ever going to stop the boats coming across the channel with your digital ID card is sharpen the edges and slash the fucking boats. Now, the problem is, this is something that Macron wants. He wants the digital ID as well. So, in my opinion, this is how it'll work. They'll get issued with the fucking ID cards before the bastards get in the boat. And they'll walk up the beach waving them. No good can ever come out of the digital credit scoring and shit like that. It's yeah. And have we got much hope of old chubby fingers stopping it? No, I don't think so. To be honest, not unless Trump puts the right words in his fucking ear hole. I mean, he opened another fucking Islamic fucking centre, social centre or whatever it was, and said, oh, we need to be able to get on with the Muslims. Well, Charlie boy, you're fucking wrong. It's our country. If anybody needs to learn to live and get along with the people of this country, is the fucking newcomers. They're not from this country. They're not of our religion in this country. They're the ones that need to fucking get on. Yeah, I've heard that, Jen. Whether it's right or not, I don't know. I just saw it somewhere, and I haven't really looked into it. But yeah, why not? I use cash wherever I can. Well, the thing is now you've got these new withdrawal limits coming out in banks that if you want to make a decent purchase, you're just going to have to make loads and loads of withdrawals, and they'll probably still question that. I mean, I do once a week or once every other week. I'll go to the Silver Fox mentioned it, did he? Oh, fair enough, Jen. I don't watch a lot of his. He puts too much out. Takes up too much fucking time. Yeah, I draw cash out. If it only lasts me a week, I'll draw a bit more out. If I've got a bit left over at the end of the week or enough to see me through the second week, then I don't draw any more out. You know, but they will start questioning when regular amounts start coming out for anything other than a direct debit. And again, to me, that has got to come under privacy laws. I mean, you sign a contract when you take out a fucking bank account, and there's a lot of privacy things in that contract. No, I haven't read all of them, but I've had a glance through the terms and conditions, as they put it. and there's nothing in there about sharing your bank details or statements with any fucking ruling party. Yes, there are exceptions if they've got a warrant for an investigation. Then, yeah, that is permissible, but they have to go to court for it. So again, that's another invasion of our privacy. The law states that it's up to the individual to create their own privacy, which should include covering your face, shouldn't it? Yeah, exactly, Stitch. I mean, that statement from what's her name over the Bell Hotel, the immigrants have got more rights than the British people have in the area. Fuck off, have they? You've given them everything else that we've paid for. You're not going to give them our fucking rights as well, especially as they are actually criminals. They became a criminal the day they had landed in this country with no documentation. So there you go. As we know, criminals have got more rights than victims. So just cash my job and spend a lot of sex, drugs, and rock and roll. We don't dance or drink or take anything else that much then with what they pay on the gyro. What's that, Stitch? Microphone exploded. It might be that I've got it at a bit different angle, but sorry, I'm 3 minutes behind. But yeah, it's digital ID. I mean, you've only got to look at China to see what it's going to entail. You know, you won't be able to do nothing. You won't be able to travel if they don't want you to. You won't even be able to buy food. At the moment, the only thing they wouldn't be able to cut off is the air you can breathe. Well, with the shit they're pumping into it, it ain't going to be worth breathing before long anyway. But everything else, every other little aspect of your life. Can you imagine going into a chemist and buying a box of, say, half a dozen condoms for the receptionist to turn around and say, you've had too much sex because you bought too many of those lately. They won't let you buy them now. Because that's what it would be like. You would be punished left, right and centre. You'd have no chance about fighting any fines in court because the fine would automatically be installed on your credit score and it will come direct straight out your bank. You won't be able to stop it. And that falls in line with them wanting to do away with jury trials, one horse fucking kangaroo courts and shit like that. Think about that. Yeah, I'm trying to look at it as ways that nobody else has thought about. You know, imagine not being able to buy milk for your kid because you posted a wrong word on the internet. Having your water turned off, your electric turned off, your gas turned off. Surality. Good evening, Surality. Drink. Well, I have slipped into one of my old voices again, which was having a ciggy. But I haven't drunk alcohol for probably 15 years now, Surality, and I certainly wouldn't go back to it.
Cheers, mate.
Yeah, exactly, Shirley. I mean, basically, I mean, I've seen the posts. Yeah, okay. He was venting an opinion, and the bit about punching someone in the balls, well, I totally fucking agree with, to be honest. But that was meant as a comedic entry, a comedic ending to that post. But as we know, the police, you know, they're devoid of any fucking humour. Her balls. Yeah. Yeah. But, oh, it's a fucking joke at the moment. It really is. I have never seen such a government that commits so much fraud. I'd go as far as to say theft on some of the taxes, because it is stealing money from people that they've paid in to get that money back in later life. So, in a way, I'd class that as stealing. I mean, they broke every parliamentary rule by lying, misleading, you know, cover us up. Yeah, it does, Jen. It go on and on and on and on. I mean, take Rayner today. Oh, what an absolute fucking mess that woman is. I mean, this over a fucking tax on this new pad. She sat there in an interview, crocodile fucking tears. Oh, it was because of the trust fund that was set up. It's because of my kid and my divorce from my fucking husband. You know, this is the marital, it was the marital home, the other one, this one is my own personal home and bollocks. And straight away, she started blaming the lawyers and the people that set all this up for her. Well, I'm sorry, you dumb bint. Lawyers, accountants, financial advisors will only act on your fucking instructions. So they're not to blame. You are. I can see her going into them, you know, save me the tax on this. I don't want to pay tax on this. How can we do it? The only reason she had the fucking tears in her eyes is because she got fucking caught. You know? Now, again, I mean, I dare say a lot of people haven't said it. Oh, I had it on there just now. For fuck's sake. Come on, boy, sort yourself out. Right. Now, again, just for a sec now, I can't see the text, but this is only a 30-second clip. Right. Now, listen to what she says about a Tory councillor when he did exactly the fucking same as her. Sorry, the volume's a bit low.
Means that it damages our public services, and we know the state they're in. So the former chancellor, when he was chancellor last summer, made it clear at the time when he was questioned that he pays all his taxes and that he's done everything appropriately, and was threatening legal letters to anyone that questioned him. Now it emerged actually that that's not true, and that there was a HMRC investigation, and that he's had to pay penalties for that. I think that makes his position untenable.
So, if his position is untenable, according to her, so is hers.
Yeah, there's nothing you can do to turn the sound up.
Yeah, sorry, Steve. It was an unedited clip, and it had a very, very low volume on it anyway. Other than putting it through my editor, I couldn't boost the volume on it. Everything here, I've got all the meters at high. But yeah, you know,
Basically, she was calling him out, saying he shouldn't have done it.
Yeah, she was calling him out and saying, "Good evening, Tom. Welcome. New name in the chat there." Yeah, if she wanted him to step down or be sacked because of what he did. Oh, I meant as a mic drop. No worries, Stitch. I'm going to be really naughty now. Because I went for the vape, and I am trying what Gary and a few other of you guys said about dumping the vape and having to go back to the cigarettes. It does seem to work, to be honest. Probably not doing my lungs any good, but it's got to be better than the vape. But yeah, she should go. And if Starmer had a fucking backbone, he should sack her. But we know he won't. This is the one that's caused so many people in this country to be put out of house and home and made homeless. Yet the other day, they were giving £300,000 fucking homes. Absolutely free. You can guess who too. But yeah, I don't seem to cough as much on this, Jen. That vape, I mean, you heard what it does to my throat. Have a Bob Marley. Yeah, I wish. But yeah, I did try it sort of earlier in the week. And yeah, not knowing near as much coughing, not even bringing up enough, as much sort of bile and shit, because I get that anyway in my throat. But we'll see how it goes.
And personally, with the COPD, I'd rather him smoking than vaping. Because yes, I, like you, heard the difference in his voice.
Yeah, it does feel that way as well, Stitch. I mean, it doesn't matter whether, because I've tried it over the last couple of days. Now, I get out of breath going up and down the stairs. Just going to the toilet gets me out of breath. And I end up using the Ventolin, or Salamol is in that one. That hasn't changed. That hasn't changed whether I use the vape or have a ciggy. As what has changed is the way my voice is, and as I say, not coughing as much. Good evening, Gary. So at the moment, I've got a pack of baccy there. I'm using it sparingly, but we'll see how it goes. And the thing is, we're rolling them. Sometimes I can't be bothered to roll one. Where with a vape, you just pick it up and start sucking on it. Like you would any good woman. Sorry, that's very sensitive. Where did that come from?
I don't know. But if you're bearing all and telling the truth, so am I.
Oh no, I don't know how that came.
I didn't give up anyway.
Yeah, I know.
They don't. I wasn't smoking around him. I'd cut it right down to almost nothing. But yeah. I would have one when I was out and about. So.
But yeah, we'll see how that part goes. Apparently my arteries are fucked and my blood's fucked anyway, so it can't do any more damage than that, can it? And I do get checked regularly for cancer when I have my blood screenings. But I've done that for years. Every time I have a blood test, I have it checked because we do have a history of cancer in the male side of my family. I lost my father to it. His twin died of it as well, and plus several uncles. And what have you. So that is one thing that I do try and keep a top of. But snack alarmists are better than pepperonis. I don't eat any of that meat, that sort of meat, Gary. It's horrible. But, talking about the migrants, I mean, yeah, we got to talk about them. They'll try and so you shouldn't talk about them. And this was part of the idea of the Online Safety Act, was to try and stop us talking about them. New here, you got a political hero, Roger. Anyone in the chat? Actually, Tom, I've got no political heroes. As I often said, being as you're new here, I'll just let you know where I stand. I had never, ever voted. Bear in mind, I'm 64 years old now. Bear in mind the age and what's happened in politics over the years. I had never, ever voted until the vote was for or against Brexit. Now, I voted for Boris, effectively, because I wanted Brexit. I wanted us to take control back of our own country. Now, if we'd have got out of Europe all told, we would have that now, because it's only the European laws that are holding up a lot of shit here, as I said earlier. At the last election, I saw what was going on. I've always watched it now because I do videos on it. Now I'm virtually housebound. The last election, I actually voted Reform, because to me, they were the only ones that were saying the words more or less aligned with the way I was thinking. But do I have any heroes? No. Because as we've seen over the years, it doesn't matter what they tell you. It doesn't matter what they say they're going to do. It can change overnight. Just like Starmer. He lied in a manifesto and he's failed at everything he's tried to do. He turned opposite direction on everything that was in that manifesto. Yeah, they are scar. And do you know the best bit of what the corrupt bastards did over there? They asked our government, on top of what we've already given them, to pay to run their fucking ships that are escorting the fuckers across the channel. They want them to pay their running costs of their fucking ships. Fuck off. As far as I'm concerned, we should never do any deal with fucking France over this. We paid them millions and millions to stop them coming, and they've done absolutely nothing.
You are 100% on point, Sir Alito.
What's he put? Enoch could see these. Yeah, exactly, mate. Exactly.
We've grown up with it. We've seen it coming.
We've seen that wave coming across the world in our years. With Birmingham back then. No, I'll tell you what, mate. The only place where I never used to see them, you might see the odd one or two, but they'd integrated into society perfectly, was down in the West Country, down in Cornwall.
And up north.
Yeah, and well, north has always been them, hasn't it? Fucking hell.
My first encounter with the packing shop was in Glasgow.
But, as I say, I talk to the guy who owns the shop on the corner here, because that's about as far as I can fucking walk now without having to lay down. he's a Muslim. All his family are Muslim. I've met his brother. He's a Muslim. I've met his sister, his wife, in the shop. They're Muslim. And he was actually quite proud that somebody had put a St. George's flag more or less opposite his fucking shop. He said, okay, we've got a religion. We go to church like you guys do. He doesn't go every day, 5 times a fucking day or anything. But he said, since we've lived here, I can't remember what he said, 26 or 29 years. He said, we've got a business, we've got a house. My family were born here. And he said, I respect the British laws. And he said, and I respect the British values as much as I do from my own religion. And I've never had he's a nice guy, It's, Carol once had a Scottish girlfriend. I don't think that's quite the same, mate. But yeah, I'd never, as I said, when I was at college a little while back, I had 2 Muslims as tutors, and they were only lads in their late 20s, and they were a fucking right laugh. Oh, what are you doing after you finish here then today? Oh, I'm going down the pub, have a pint, he said, before I go home. He said, because I'm not allowed to drink it at home. It's, yeah. It's ridiculous. But it does seem that Starmer's got a new passion now. He wants to stop 16-year-olds and under drinking what I lovingly call go juice and the old energy drinks. Oh, we want their heads clear for when they're at school. You mean you want to accept them to accept more indoctrination? More like. But normal size can of go juice has the same amount of caffeine in it as a cup of coffee. So what's next? Ban your kids from drinking coffee? I mean, young ones, you wouldn't let them drink it anyway because, yeah, the caffeine and if you put sugar in as well, it's just going to send them fucking hyper like any fizzy drink. But ban 16 and under from drinking coffee because that's basically the same thing.
Josh used to love a cup of coffee when he was about 14.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of cans first thing in the morning whenever I get up. It just helps me stay awake a little bit longer for a couple of hours. And I mean, to be honest, I would challenge anybody to say they had extra energy after drinking one. I used to give my son Haribo's.
Fantastic.
I had one or two, how can I put it, relatives years ago who had very, very annoying kids. And they were the sort of parents that wouldn't control their kids. So just before I used to send them home, or my mum used to send them home, she'd give them a sugary drink each. Because apparently it used to send them fucking nuts. And she said, well, they inflict it on us, so I'm going to inflict it on them. Because I guarantee they never used to carry on like that back home, with their parents. But didn't one of Donna's have a point if he had sugary drinks?
Oh, Josh?
Yeah.
We found out he couldn't have orange squash. It definitely couldn't have full fat Coke or pop.
Yeah.
Not yeah, you wouldn't have had Coke back in the day anyway. Caffeine again. But yeah, he had all sorts of issues with high sugar and orange colouring. So poor boy couldn't have Smarties.
You know. But
yeah,
they,
night terrors.
but the thing is, now they're moaning about the caffeine and chemicals in these energy drinks. Why aren't they moaning about the chemicals that they're putting in our fucking food? Chemicals they're spraying in the air that affects our breathing. Nope. He's fixated on fucking go juice. Well, I to be honest, Stitch, I used to only drink full fat. But with my blood issues, yeah, okay, it's got harmful fucking sweeteners, artificial sweeteners and shit in, but I always drink the Coke Zero now. But, you know, they want us to eat healthily. Well, bring the food prices down of healthy foods where people can afford them. Make sure there's healthy foods in the shop, you know, help the farmers grow it. Because believe me, the so-called healthy food that comes from the continent, that is covered in all sorts of shit that they spray on them. You know, even fish. Most salmon from the continent, especially Norway, places like that, they're actually fucking radioactive because the water's radioactive from Chernobyl. Even wild Scottish salmon, maybe not the wild ones, but normal Scottish salmon, they're grown in pens. They're fed chemicals that change the colour of their flesh to that orange colour that everybody seems to like. Now, that isn't natural. They're not normally that orange. They accelerate their growth. They change their breeding patterns. Yeah, exactly, Steve. I mean, you can scrape any apple, fruit, banana, whatever, even vegetables, and they've all got that waxy coating on them. Some of them, now I will admit this, some of them are a natural protection that the fruit produces itself, but not all of them. Go on then, Moo. There's obviously a punchline to that one. What all
Because
the
life
French?
is said gay frogs.
Ah.
So Moo, of course, with his wit, has responded.
Yeah, I do see it now. I wasn't looking up the chat. Give children a small
One of these days, Moo will come out with
gold
something
label
new.
for breakfast. You saying that, Serality, give your children a kind of gold label. Mother used to quite often give me a hot milk at night with a splash of whiskey in it.
I can't see Sir Alice's comment.
You can't.
Oh no, there it is. All
Yeah,
the way up there.
I'm looking back up in it because I've missed some.
Good evening,
Adrian. About pollution turning the frogs gay. No, I actually.
Can Adrian confirm what you found out, or think you may have found out about?
Yeah, Adrian. Someone told me that Glyn's not online anymore because he went blind because of the drink. You know, I'm not going to go into it and put it out there or talk about it, you know, but can you confirm that? Because I know you were on his streams. You know, it's just for my own peace of mind. I mean, I very, very rarely talk about them times back then because obviously I run my channel a bit different. But
we were just wondering.
Yeah, we were just wondering about the bloke, you know. So, I mean, if that was the case, it's very sad. But, you know, people had warned him. It's one of the things that I saw happening with some friends of mine. I lost a couple of good friends down in Cornwall.
Oh,
Oh, he's gone partially blind. Okay, thank you for that,
thank you
Adrian.
so much.
You know, I didn't want to, if anybody asked, I didn't want to say anything if that wasn't the case. He can see some things. So. Fair enough. Thank you, buddy. But yeah, it was something I come across with one of the two of my friends that died through the drink. One of them did go blind before he died. That's what brought my attention to that whole conversation. But no, thank you, Adrian. That's
Thank you for confirming.
confirming. It makes a lot of sense of what I heard. They just said he'd gone blind, didn't say it was partial. So, good evening, Tony. But yeah, Cooper and the crossings. Now, she made this statement about what they're going to do now. Notice all of a sudden it's a trial run. We know trials and something is to find out how it works. You know, something that wasn't done with a certain intervention a few years ago, although they said they did. So is that just what they say when they're expecting something to fail, basically? What do you think is the greatest threat facing us as a society at the moment? Well, in my mind, Tom, our greatest threat comes from our own government.
Can I?
Yeah, we have got other threats, quite serious ones. But the biggest threat is the government not doing anything about it. And that's why I would say our own government is our biggest threat. What's your take on that? Because the question was to both of us.
Yes. Something that's come to mind recently. I've always had my doubts about Trump and Putin because let's face it, the two of them together and the rest of us wouldn't stand a chance. But what has become a concern is everybody seems to be getting very pally and very handshaky and best friends, and it's Russia, America, China, and if that actually goes down that road and they do all become best friends, doesn't matter what government we've got and what they're doing, they're taking over.
But there again, you look at what Trump did with the tariffs now, especially with India and places like that. He's actually pushing them all to go and do deals with China.
Yeah.
He's alienating them.
He's building a force that the rest of the world just cannot do anything about.
Yeah, or don't want to.
No. If they get together with the amount of force and power they have between them, the rest of us wouldn't stand a chance.
Yeah, and you think about the 1984 scenario,
Yes.
the two great continents, the final war.
And what would have happened in 1984 if those two great continents had actually shook hands?
Yeah. They'd have gained too much control over the people and they wouldn't want to relent that control, so they'd let the war carry on so they can control people, which is, my opinion, is exactly what fucking Starmer's trying to do in this country. But anyway, back to the boats. Cooper, I hope that answers your questions there, Tom.
By all means, put your answers to your questions in the comments so we know a little bit about how you feel.
Cooper, now, she made this big fucking speech about how they're changing the way the asylum system's going to work. Basically, She's changed nothing other than to make it easier for more to come over. Now, as somebody posted on another platform that I frequent, that's a big fucking word for me, isn't it? Frequent, Jesus.
You used it correctly as well.
Yeah, rather than frequent.
Like,
but now think back during COVID, in particular lockdowns. Every student around the world, including those that were on leave from uni, attended lectures on whatever courses they were on online. So why can't they do that with these foreign students? Why do they need to give them visas? Why do they need to let them come here with half their fucking family because they've got to have the family support and they're allowed it? I frequently amaze myself, Moo. You know that. You've met me in person. You know what I'm like. But yeah, so why do we need to go through all this with the visas? They could learn absolutely everything they want online. You know? Yeah, Japan's kicking up now. Well, virtually everybody has seen what's happening. Australia's kicking off big time over there. The Aussies are not fucking happy. And I personally don't think anything that anybody's doing in this country is going to change at the moment, because I think everybody is waiting to see what happens in London on the 13th before they decide which way they're going to go and how it's going to work. Now, as Tommy has said, and as you know, I don't particularly like Tommy as a bloke, but I admire what he stands for and I admire what he does. He's not the sort of bloke I could sit and talk to in a pub. He's told everybody, and I put it in the videos and I will keep saying it, if you are going, don't cover your face. You can't say don't drink because some are. Don't cause any trouble. Don't rise to any provocation, whether it be from both of the paid agitators. By that I mean the lefties and the police, because they are, as far as I'm concerned, most of the protests, they are paid agitators. That's what they do. You know, they proved it time and time again. And I mean, good evening, Gordo. If people can't see it from the videos that are out there, then they're still asleep. Yeah, keep it clean, keep it respectful up there. And if trouble starts, that you can turn around and say, well, it wasn't us. Look, you know. And now the other thing is that keeps popping up online, and it is one of these, it's actually on Facebook. It's one that keeps posting all these silly little laws the police have got around driving. You could be fined for this, fined for that, fined for the other. But if the police see these posts, and there's one in particular on there which they have been known to catch people out on, is, are you sharing petrol? Is a passenger in your car giving you money towards petrol? Because they class that then as you are receiving payment for transport, so you're akin to a private hire car. And if the police wanted to, they'd probably have a job proving it in court, but they could impound your car and they could try and take you to court simply because it would invalidate your insurance paying passengers. So never ever tell a copper that you're sharing petrol, and there'll be many people that will the weekend of the 13th. So be aware of that, because they will be pulling thousands of cars on the motorways on the way into London, and that's the sort of question they catch people out. You know, on top of that, you've got all the railway cancellations, which miraculously appear for that weekend, road closures, road works, all emergency apparently, that were announced 3 weeks ago. So I wouldn't exactly class it as an emergency. But yeah, just have your wits about you if you're there. I mean, I'd love to be there, but as you know, due to my health, I wouldn't just struggle. It would do me in. I wouldn't be able to do it. I mean, I can't stand on my feet for more than 10 minutes at a time. I've got to be very close to a toilet most of the time. And walking about, jeering and shouting, it would fuck me up in 10 minutes. Yeah, exactly, Jen. You know, I mean, it's a static rally, but there's still a march to get there. Yes, I could go direct to there, but then I've got to travel on trains, because I certainly wouldn't fucking drive into London. Maybe buses, and I still have a lot of walking to do. And I mean, to be honest, when I finish my streams most weekends, just sitting here talking for 2 hours, I have to go and lie down. I'll do the washing up. I'll have to stop halfway through and come and sit down because my legs are killing me. You know, it's the ME, I think, is the biggest problem.
I told you if you did it more often, it wouldn't take you as long.
I don't think it's going to go off, Gordo. I mean, if the numbers turn up that they're expecting, you can expect to see a lot of police there, but it'll get to a certain size that the police, if they kicked off, they'd lose control. Just found out you got arthritis in you. Well, believe me then, Jen, the worst place you want it is in your neck and your fucking spine. And I'm sure I've got it in most of my joints as well, with the way they click and grate all the time. You know, sometimes I'll move my neck or just move my arm, and I'll have people 4 or 5 meters away from me saying, "Was that what clicked? Was that you?" You know. Yeah, that's the big problem, Gordo, and that is down to the police, because they could keep the lefties out the way. All they've got to do is give them a section 14 and they have to disperse. But they don't. The only people they give that to are the Patriots. Now, the police could let them get that close where it could be a problem. I may even restream it, because there'll be plenty of people streaming live. So on the 13th, on the Saturday, I may just pop up with a live stream. But on that sort of bloke, yeah, there's things called fair usage, putting your own commentary on it and shit. But I'm the sort of guy that would get in touch with someone like DJE or Resistance GP, somewhere like that, and say, well, look, I've only got a small following. Would you mind if I restream it with me talking over and talking about it as well? So, but we'll see how that goes. I don't want to tread on anybody's feet, because some of the bigger ones do have copyrights on their streams. I can post links for this. Cordo, I'm sat in front of the computer all day, mate. The only thing is now, with the way YouTube is, hi, faceless cowards, by the way, in the background. And I mean YouTube, not my normal lurkers that I know are there. They just don't post. Fucking hell, there goes that. I keep Emmy again. I've forgotten where I was there. Oh my god. Yeah. Yeah, but he's one of the ones that is quite amenable like that, Gordo. And his streams, you know, even if you don't have the sound on and don't listen to him, his streams are usually pretty stable. But yeah, a lot of the bigger ones like him, GB News, people like that, Scope even, obviously, rather than cause any grief. You know, most of them don't have any problem with it. You know, especially as I'm not making money off them because I'm not monetized. So, you know, there shouldn't be an issue. I mean, I could just do it anyway, but I'm the sort of person that likes to ask first. You know, how that, what's his name? Summer Andy, an American guy. You know, he has the streams all over his fucking screen and flicking backwards and forwards. So how he gets away with it, I don't know. But
because he's not in this country and he's streaming it to
yeah,
his interested followers in America.
yeah,
London, shit over it.
London City events. I do look at Portland, Andy. Thank you, Gordo. That's the one. Yeah, the same with Tyrant Finder in Bristol. He does the same. But, you know, if someone's got a good stream going and it's clear and it's not pixelating and breaking up, then, yeah, I'd prefer to ask if I can use it. It just saves any hassle.
Sorry to interrupt you, darling.
Yep.
I'm going upstairs.
Yeah.
While I'm looking about, do you need anything?
I could probably do another can on your way back.
Okay.
He gets away with it on TikTok. Yeah. But he does stream on YouTube. What would you like the outcome of the 13th to be? Well, the biggest outcome I would like to see, Tom, is it all go off peaceful, as Steve said there. I don't think, as usual, anything that anybody says on that stage, the government will take any notice of. Obviously, with the legal implications, Tom has got to be very careful what he says. He could get himself back into a lot of trouble. But yeah, that would be my biggest hope of an outcome, would be everything goes off peaceful and everybody takes note of what Tommy says. Obviously, everybody's absolutely free to have their own interpretations on it and opinions on it. And I dare say I will give mine afterwards at some point. But considering there's speakers coming from all around the world, it's going to be interesting. There is a lot of foreigners coming to it, actually, from the EU. Paul and Andy uses TikTokers. That's how he gets around the copyrights. Fair enough. So, yeah, it's going to be very interesting. But it's more about getting the people to stand together, I think. Not about fighting the government. Obviously, that's going to be there. But it's more about bringing together people to do it up en masse, as it were. You off, Jen? Sorry, did I miss a comment there? Jen, I'm off now, guys. All right, Jen. Take care, sweetheart. I'll probably see you on Facebook somewhere before the end of the day or the week. Thank you for dropping in. But yeah, what Cooper's putting in place, absolute fucking waste of time. Absolutely a total waste of time. They're not returning any. There was never intention to return anybody other than the odd one to put on a show. What exactly? Tom, I've got to say it, with some of the questions you're asking there. Yeah, they're fair questions, but what should we be standing against? The immigrants, the government, or the left? Well, one, we should stand against the government about what they're doing to us, not just over immigration, about everything. The lying, especially, the fudging of figures. Every figure they put out is an absolute fucking lie. Like the immigrants that have been deported. Yeah, most of them have agreed to go. And all bar a very small percentage are ones that have been here for years and caught overstaying their visa and working here illegally. So they keep saying 34,000. I should probably say 99% of those either went freely or were caught working illegally. They certainly weren't 34,000 that come across on fucking boats. The immigration, it's not so much the immigration, Tom, it's the uncontrolled immigration that is fucking this country up through financing it, accommodating them. I mean, we should never, ever allow anybody to move into this fucking country that gets people kicked out of their houses just because they need somewhere to stay. That is wrong, especially when they've come here illegally. So, but as I say, everything that needs to be sorted would be sorted by having an honest government. Believe it or not, a lot of the ones that have come here legally, and by that I mean these fucking apes running round in hundreds and hundreds of people gang. Good evening, Cheryl. With fucking machetes, attacking white people. Well, those aren't the boat people. They aren't the ones coming across in boats. Those were the ones that have been here for some time. And as a physical threat, I believe they are a bigger one than the illegal ones that have come across the channel. Because they're organised. You know, you've got the Muslim Brotherhood. You've got all these fucking mosques. What do you think all this praying in public to fuck people about is all about? Overtaking the beaches, shitting on the beaches, burying it in the sand. That is not because they want a good day out. That is because they've probably been paid to fucking go there because they want to show their dominance. Same as the trips to the countryside that we see, where they decimate the whole area of national park or something. That's organised. That's not one or two families that want to go for a walk in the countryside. Because they don't go for a walk. They sit there, make a mess everywhere, shit everywhere, just abuse the place and then fuck off home. It's nothing but a show of dominance. Like they're allowed to... Good evening, James. How you doing, buddy? They're the ones that want to take over. Like our souls. Haven't seen you for a while. Good evening. How are you? Yeah, I mean, they're a bigger threat to this way of life that we've led our country. Now, yes, there are more than a few incidents of the legal immigrants abusing young girls, harassing young girls, robbing people. But there are far more that are doing that have been here for years. You know, they keep plugging the immigrants to the problem. I'm not saying they aren't a problem, because they fucking well are, to our finances and our health. But the ones that are already here are an actual bigger threat to us. There's far more of them than there is of the illegal ones in the hotels.
They've spread out.
And this is the problem, Gordo. They said, oh, we're going to move them out the hotels, which they're not fucking doing. They keep saying they've shut them down. No, they're hotels that their contract with the government has run out and they don't want to renew them because of the hassle over it. So that's why there's 1 or 2 hotels shutting down. You know, there's plenty of hoteliers coming out now. Even HMO owners are saying, no, you can fuck right off. But when they're in the hotels, they're kind of contained. They are controlled to a certain level. But once they get out in the public domain, they've got a house in the middle of an estate or on someone else's road. That's when we're going to see more problems with the illegal ones. In, you know, this, for the sake of the faceless cowards in the background there, YouTube, these are my opinions, okay? They're not facts, they're opinions. And none of it is a hate crime either. So you can fuck off with that one. Yeah, exactly, Sorality. I mean, as I was growing up, the only shit you'd ever see on the beach was from a fucking donkey. The guy used to come along and clean that up. You know? Yeah. People call them the elites. I don't see them as the elites. I just see them as people with lots of money that are power hungry. You know, to me, if you've got enough to live your life to the full, very, very comfortably, with enough to pass on to your kids when you're gone, that to me would be a good life. You know? I mean, was it Elon Musk, with all the money he's got, he said he'd never give it to his kids. I think it was Muskie. He said, because I want them to learn their own way in life. What's that? I think? You know, you're saying that there are some mega rich people out there who are good. They do use their money in good ways. But I believe, you know, you see all these celebrities worth billions of pounds and shit, and football stars. They'll quite happily go to a charity gala and ask you to part with your money. But how much would they part with to put in?
Well, they've already parted with thousands to get the ticket. They make you pay.
I mean, how many of those people would put up any of these illegal visitors in their own house? They'll happily rent a property to them through the government because they know they'll make a shitload of money on it. Yeah, he's got such a messed up personal life in that way, you know, kids with different women and shit. Oh, fucking hell.
I see your point, Tom, but a lot of those people have been shooed out of the country by the additional taxes here, there, and everywhere. And they've taken the businesses, sold them up, taken the money, and gone somewhere where they're appreciated. So, you know, a lot of them aren't doing anything other than leaving.
You know, first of all, it was the billionaires and the very elite. They took their money, businesses, and run. As Mrs. W said, for the taxes they got to pay on them here. And now the normal millionaires, the next level down, they're deserting the country. You know, they keep saying, oh, we've got investments coming in for this, we've got investments coming in for that. Well, those investments that were supposed to have been coming in totally fucked up the steel industry in this country. North Sea gas and oil. Loads of foreign investors, including the Americans, wanted to invest in that, which would have made the government a shitload of tax. Nope, they weren't having that. You know, so with the new tax reforms that they're on about, basically, they're turning the only people that supported them against themselves, because they're starting to persecute them now, the same as they do his so-called working class.
They keep shouting, tax the rich. The rich just move their money out of this country and there's nothing to tax and nothing to invest. That's why we have to rely on foreign investors.
You know, so they keep shouting about that. Oh, you know, you got to pay this, you got to pay that. And then their second in command tries to evade fucking property tax.
That's the housing minister.
Yeah. The actual fucking housing minister. Yeah, they're going to implode. Starmer has lost the plot. They're clutching at straws. They have got, and I can't emphasize this enough, they have got to oppress us even further, and they will try, because it's the only fucking way they'll be able to stay in power once we have another election.
Yes, mate.
And they know that. And the only way they can stay in power is by creating conflict where they can lock the whole country down and cancel any election. Oh, it's a national emergency. Boom. Election done and dusted. Gone.
Yes, no, that's why the rich don't want the cash society, or they want the cashless society, because they don't deal in cash. It's dirty. Why would you? It's clean transfer. It's easy.
And
it's only poor people that have cash.
The other warning I would give for people to take notice of, now with all this corruption coming out, you know, there's not a day goes by when there's either fraud or something by somebody in the fucking Labour Party, kiddie fiddling, whatever. Now, because of all this, more and more of it's coming up. More and more people are realising and wanting things doing about. So, what's Labour's option? Well, whatever they've got planned, and they do have something planned, it's going to be stepped up, and it's going to happen a lot quicker because they're starting to lose control. And once people lose control, it makes them very, very dangerous. To them. Dangerous to them. And what they don't realise is, if they put all the Brits backs to the wall and try all this, we're going to become equally as dangerous. Because once you've got nothing to lose, that's it. It's done. You know, one way or the other, win or lose. Once you've got nothing to lose,
you have everything to gain.
You have everything to gain. That's the phrase I was trying to think of.
I knew it.
You know what my memory's like.
Yes, I knew it. And I'm sorry to interrupt, but I was struggling for it myself. And I'm like, and then as you said it, my brain just filled in.
I will explain that to Tom. Sometimes, Tom, like earlier on, you'll see me, I'll be in the middle of a conversation and I'll just stop. Now, that is literally because I've forgotten what I was going to say. Words and phrases sometimes just don't come out. That is literally the result of a stroke that I had and several TIAs afterwards, including 4 in one afternoon. So
Well, just
the ME and the stroke. The ME because of it, and the stroke. Sometimes I get a brain glitch. Just to explain, if you see that happening like it did earlier.
We do work quite well as a team because we tend to think exactly the same thing. Yes, there are times when I annoy him because I'm interrupting and he could remember what he wanted to say. And then there's other times when, like that I'm finishing his, if I can get my words together, his sentence for him.
Yes, that is correct, James. But at the moment, the prices are fluctuating. That's another big word for me to remember, fluctuating. The prices, they always vary from day to day, sometimes from hour to hour. Oh, you remember the space chickens, Boyley? My mates. But, yeah, bullion. But it's a bulky commodity, isn't it?
Yeah, I'm going to start, but I need to know where I can buy gold to hide under the mattress.
Well, the jewellers.
No, they want far too much for it.
Well, you got them gold brokers and that. You can buy it in bullion in little bars, you know. 4 in 1 afternoon is crazy. Tuss's nose, man. Yeah, it was the first one, Tom. The missus actually, I went out to try and get help from her because I couldn't move my arm, I couldn't speak, and I just collapsed unconscious. That was the one that did the damage.
Woke up and told me not to phone the box.
Yeah, and then I woke up and I felt okay, just a little bit queasy, and I told her to cancel the ambulance. Then about 2 days later, I had a TIA. By then, I knew what it was. Just arm went a bit numb. Felt very, very dizzy. My vision went all funny. And I thought, well, yeah, that's not good. And then the following day, I had 4 in an afternoon. At that point, I said, no, call an ambulance, and this time I will go in. And they confirmed, yes, I'd had a heart attack, a stroke, and when I was there, I was still having a TIA going on, although it wasn't showing any symptoms. They said with the machines they put on and fucking electric tech and shit, they said I was still in the middle of a TIA. So, and then we started looking into things, and you know, I had a blood clot on the brain a few years ago now, 2014, I think it was. Yeah, 21 years ago. But since then, I've also got Bear Britain Audits. Good afternoon. Good evening, buddy. And then I developed. I've struggled with breathing for a while, and then it turns out I've got COPD. You know, I didn't go crying to the doctors, I've got COPD or anything. They told me. And since that was diagnosed at my last appointment, they've upgraded me to level 4 COPD, which basically means I'm one level below palliative care. So, yeah, that's quite bad. Plus the polycythemia in my blood, that's another issue, but that's something, yeah, if you want to research, absolutely feel free, but it's too long-winded to go into because it's changes in the blood and what the blood's doing in my body. But most days I've got cramp in every single muscle in my legs, usually a bit in my arms as well. And that's why I'm sat here most of the day, unless I've got a hospital appointment. Occasionally I'll creep out with Heather if she's going somewhere. But I have me 10 days every year now up in Cumbria. I used to be, Tom. I used to be. Not so much now, mate. I mean, it was so many years ago that I don't know whether you can see that on there. I've got no joint in my shoulder there. I mean, that exploded racing mountain bikes down in Wales. I used to do downhill. This is only a handful of years ago, mind. Into my 50s. But they used to make me race with the veterans. But I decided that with what I was going through, and I'd already had a aortic femoral bypass by then as well, because there was no blood flow in one of my legs.
He was fit and healthy when I met him.
But I totally destroyed the AC joint, all the ligaments and tendons that hold the shoulder in place exploded, literally. And because I didn't want to get stuck in hospital down in Wales, I got it x-rayed down there. And I drove back all the way to Birmingham, Midlands, with the arm fucked up.
In a manual.
And after a few months, I even went back to riding, but just riding for fun, not competition. But yeah, I'm well-respected downhill mountain biker around here, Tom. I used to build bikes for people, repair bikes. No, I was... I lost where I was on the course, to be honest. And I thought I was coming up to a 40-foot tabletop, which I'd cleared earlier in the day. And but I wasn't. I was actually coming up to a 6-foot hop up into a berm. And by the time I'd realised, I was like 15 feet off the fucking ground, heading over the back of the berm. And before I could even think about bailing, it went in, and of course, with the handlebars, it just shot the shoulder joint straight out the fucking back. But yeah, basically that put paid to my riding career. I say I've actually sold my bike not so long back. I had one race bike left, my downhill bike, my Specialised, and a mate of mine was always interested in it, so I let him have it for what I paid for it, because I used to build my own. I'd go around, buy all the parts, and then custom build it. Yeah, the Red Bull Rampage, it's not quite at that level, Sorality. I mean, I only used to race the county. You know, it's all the lads in the county.
If things have been different, though, I am right, aren't I? You would have loved to have been able to go and do that.
I'd still be here now. Still be doing it now. Oh, what?
Red Bull.
The Rampage?
Yeah.
Not a fucking chance. Not a fucking chance. Now, the lads used to call me Fat Nuts, and it was simply because if we built a new feature, a new ramp, a new set of jumps, I was always the one up for, I'd try it. And I'd go at anything. But seeing the stuff they do on there, I'm like, You know, 50-foot drops, 50-foot canyon jumps. I mean, they're literally, they're the things that are going to fucking kill you when it goes horribly wrong, unless you're very lucky.
Yeah,
but I used to do motor racing, banger racing, drag racing. I've been burnt. I've been smashed about.
No, he would never be any good as an Uber driver. He gets lost round the corner.
If I get out of the area in this town, that's it. I'm fucking screwed. I can't use a sat nav because I end up arguing with the bitch.
Now we use the motorway toll road to go on holiday, because it is literally just down the road, and for what it costs, it saves a hell of a lot of time and effort.
And a hell of a lot of me asking you where the fuck do we go here.
I had to do the initial part of the journey to get us to the motorway, so that he could carry on and drive the rest of the way. And it was, oh, he's useless. Absolutely useless. He still argues with me when we go on holiday. Because when you go, it's literally, you come off the motorway and it's straight on, straight on, straight on, straight on. But when you come back, there's a slight hiccup. And we always get it wrong. And it's always my fault. Always my fault. He knows it's that little, we've got to go down there. But he won't listen. So we go down there. Oh. But no, I would not recommend him as a taxi driver to anybody. Just about get me to the hospital if I've got an appointment. Because he does that more often than I do.
The only reason she's got the sat nav is because she took it off me when I threatened to throw the fucker out the window.
It's my sat nav, it's not your fucking sat nav. You had one as well, that's upstairs. I don't use yours.
No, I think I threw that one out.
Tenner from Halfords. My baby bought me a
Manager's special, but it didn't have a charge lead.
You have to have it plugged in to the
oh dear.
lighter socket, whatever you want to call it these days, because it does not have an internal battery. That's food. So every time you turn it on, you've got to sit there for 5 minutes before you can even put in your postcode.
Go full out, Jolson. Mommy. How I love you. How I love you. But no, me and sat navs just don't get on. Far from it.
His sat nav he had set up in such a way, and don't ask me how he managed to do it. Every time we went over another road or under another road that had a speed camera on it, it would tell us we were going too fast on the motorway. You're in a 30.
It's. I mean, me and Tech, we've never got on. I mean, as most of the guys in here know, it was only in the last few years I learned to use a computer because I needed to when I fell ill and had to sign on. So,
but I am tech support and he tells me I'm wrong.
So they had to send me to college to learn how to use it. Now, I've learned patience with the thing now. I know how most things work.
Yeah, wait.
There was one day, I think Heather was here, and I said, oh, it keeps coming. I was trying to turn the computer off, and I'd forgotten how you do it. Go through the shutdown process. And I just said to Heather, I said, the computer's telling me I can't turn it off. And before she could get a word out and tell me, I'll fucking show it. And I just pulled the plug. I just unplugged it from the wall.
It left an app open and it was saying, do you want to save your work or are you sure that this program needs to be shut down before you leave properly, nicely? No, fuck it.
I mean, I got a laptop upstairs. It's got hundreds of mountain biking videos on that we've done over the years. And I would say thousands of pictures. But this was back before I knew how to use a computer. My mate used to download it onto the computer for me, off his camera as well as mine. But the only problem is, yes, there's lots of brilliant incidents in them videos, but I didn't put any titles on them or description of what's in the video.
Which I told him to do at the time.
So all I've got is numbers under them, and I'm not trolling through fucking hundreds and hundreds of videos just to find maybe a dozen incidents.
Told him when he found a good one, change the name, save it to something he knew what it was. Don't need road names, Paul.
Yeah, but the thing is,
road names.
James, with the Cornish sat navs, it's like, oh, wow, you don't want to go down that one, mate. Keep going round, have a look at one of the other. Ah, that's the one you want. I mean, when I first moved up here, she used to have to act as an interpreter between me and her mum because she couldn't understand the word I was saying.
Took me a week or 3.
Yeah, the best one is, James, when you're coming down on the A30, as you get down into Indian Queens, it tells you you're going across all the fields because it hadn't included the new bypass.
Same happened in Newtown in Wales.
Just outside Brumtom, Sutton Coldfield. I never hide where I am.
I are a Brummie.
She's a Brummie. I was born in Berkshire, but I spent a good part of my life down in Cornwall. Used to work as a doorman. Me and my mate had a fishing boat. We used to go bait digging for a living. I used to work on the building sites. And that's why I moved back up. I got fucking fed up of busting me bollocks just to earn a living. 3 fucking more or less full-time jobs. One all day and then one most of the evening and the night if you went on to the nightclubs. I mean, even now, I'm lucky if I get more than 2-3 hours sleep because that's what my body got used to, But I moved up to Bristol initially. And the day I moved up there, I halved the hours that I was doing in work and doubled my fucking wages.
And then he moved up here for a woman.
Moved to Birmingham for a woman.
Not me.
Not this one. And funnily enough, she was my old landlady when I was living down in Cornwall. But yeah, I've been around the country a bit. I spent a year riding around the country on my motorbike. What was in the biker terms classed as a saddle tramp for a year. Nothing but the clothes I had on and my sleeping bag on the bike. That was an interesting year.
We haven't been down your way, Pond, in a long time. Last time we went down there was for a mate's wedding. He's got 2 boys now. I think they're starting senior school soon. It's been that long. It really has.
Yeah, and the other part of it, James, is I knew he was going bad while I was there. But looking at it now, I mean, the headland, Newquay Headland, Fistral Beach. You look along that road now at the hotels there, it could be any street in fucking Spain or somewhere like that. They knocked down all the old houses, the Victorian houses. You've got one of the oldest buildings and well-known buildings with the hotel down there, the Headland Hotel. And they ruined that because they put all these silly prefab rendered over lodges in the garden. And it's just spoilt Newquay.
And apart from that, we go north now.
I mean, except for the fishermen in Newquay, the hardest thing to find in Newquay was a fucking Cornishman.
Except panda.
Yeah, that's panda, rhino. Yeah. But yeah, I was a well-known face around Newquay. There's people down there that I've known for 40 years. They still only know me by the nickname Psycho. They've never even known my real name.
As was proved to me first time we went down there. And one of his best mates, because I never called him Psycho. Never called him Psycho. So I was outside the pub and going, Roger. Totally deafs me. Totally ignores me. Roger. And this girl turns around and says, I didn't know that was his name. I will point out this is one of his exes.
Yeah, James, I mean, you look at what they've built up on the slopes at Morgan Porth. Not Porth, Morgan Porth. You know, all the rich and the famous, they've got these bloody great big glass fronted things up there. I mean, a lot of the original houses up there, well, I say a lot of them, a few of them, you know, I actually put the roof on them.
I know, I got the guided tour.
It's
how to impress your girlfriend.
The only reason I'd have now to go back down there is literally to see my old mates. And most of them now are married, settled.
I was going to say they don't live in Newquay anymore.
Yeah, they don't even live in Newquay anymore. My mate's pub, he shut that down. He sold his brewery.
Which means no piss off.
Heather used to find it funny every time we used to go down. I'd walk down through the main street in Newquay. And this was even after I'd moved from there, obviously. And there were still people that used to walk out the shops to say hello.
It took forever to get down that street. I wanted my crab sandwich.
The last time we went, we never paid for a beer. Nobody would let us pay for a beer. Every time the glass got a quarter full, there was another one on the table. 9 times out of 10 with a shot of Jack Daniels with it. I mean, it was a good life down there back then, and I enjoyed it, especially the weather.
You were loved.
You know, I had friends around me. And, I mean, up here, we've got a close circle of friends, a couple of real good ones.
3.
But you don't even associate with the neighbours. You know, we know them, we're pleasant, we speak. I don't have a problem with them. They don't have a problem with us.
When that lad comes back next door, though.
Prices of things is stupid, though. Birmingham is well cheap. Birmingham ain't cheap anymore, James.
Yeah, no.
But, yeah, Cornwall used to be... With what you earn, you could have a reasonable class of living. But
as long as you did 3 jobs.
But now it'll cost you that much that I was earning back then to rent a fucking room if you can find one, you know?
I was going to say that was always the issue. When we went down, little Jo, she was saying that you know, because it's a holiday place, the price of any accommodation, especially long term, is ridiculous because they can get more for holiday lets. And where she was renting at that time, she'd actually built a partition in the bedroom so that her daughter could have a little bit of privacy, because her and her daughter had to share the room.
Chatting to somebody online earlier that's down there, and basically all these people that have bought the holiday homes down there, the second home, now can't sell them.
No.
There was one couple, literally they've had to drop 100,000 off the price, and they still can't sell it. Literally because of this 100% fucking extra council tax on the second homes down there. So they're driving the people out that have got the second homes. They can't sell the houses. The locals can't afford to fucking rent them as a permanent residence. You know. Graham, hello, mate. Just checking in. Yeah, we've only got about 10 minutes to go.
You nut.
How's it hanging, baby? If I could, I would go back in time to the 70s any day of the week. For someone my age, the 70s and the 80s, you know, they were our heyday. We're just coming out of our teens into the 80s, into your 20s, and, you know, it was a time to enjoy yourself.
Yeah.
I worked hard enough for it. Absolutely, I worked hard. But I used to enjoy spending my money, and I used to enjoy having a bloody good time with it. No, that's right, Graham. There's a lot of people are suffering, mate, and I know you do suffer, and I know how and why. You're not alone, buddy. As you know yourself, even I was going to say sane people like me, even people like me, at times we get down, we struggle. As I've explained before, that's why I've cut down the amount of videos I do, because looking at the shit all day and then reporting on the shit all day, it does get you. It does get you at times, I tell you.
Graham, you know you're always welcome here to have just to sit and a listen or a bit of a laugh or a moan. You're always welcome, darling. You know that.
Yep, you know we don't allow anybody in that upsets the apple cart. You know, differences of opinion, they're absolutely fine as long as it's done respectfully. But if you start arguing, as you know, I don't play games. I zero tolerance. You fuck around, you insult or threaten somebody or something like that, then you're gone, as you know. And that's why we only get a few people in here. And everybody that comes in here, as I said before, it's probably one of the most respectful to its subscribers than most of them. It's like mental torture listening to the... Yeah. As I say, James, as I've always done, yes, I will look at certain things on TV, simply because I like to see firsthand what they're saying. And by watching, I mean things like the live parliament and things like that. I try to be as factual as I can, and if I've actually heard the person say it. Good evening, Flyby. Yeah, and you've got to do it. You've got to find the stories and look behind them, same as in the newspapers. I don't.
Cheryl's question.
So, has anyone heard from Glyn? I just asked that question earlier to Adrian Cheryl. Contrary to some reports, he hasn't gone totally blind. Partially, he can see some things. I wasn't told as much, but I believe that's why he's not online anymore. Somebody again said it was due to the amount of alcohol he was drinking. Well, I know too much alcohol can cause blindness, but I'm not going to say that's the cause. Far from it, because that we don't know. So,
but we have only just had that confirmed, because we hadn't heard anything for such a long time, and it was like he was so prolific. There's the word I was looking for. To just disappear totally seemed so out of character. But
I mean, I disappeared for a month or so offline. I won't go into it, but I gave me reasons why I just needed a break from the internet. You know,
I get like it sometimes because he keeps telling me, and I'm like, I don't want to know. Don't tell me any more bad news. I don't want to know. Right now is not good for me. And he tells me anyway, because I need to be aware.
Graham says, have a good night out, get sozzled for a tenner. Mate, my first pint in a pub was a light and bitter.
Tenner?
And it cost me 28 pence.
I was going to say. With £1 and 2p, I could put the 2p in the bus, in the slot for the bus driver, and he'd let me travel because I didn't have a ticket. I know
fair dodger.
Every driver on our route. And I'd go into the pub with £1, and I would have half lager and lime, pint, 10 number 6, and a box of matches, and have change. Don't ask me how much everything cost, but that was, and I was 16 at the time. And
that, Graham, was how it used to be poured. You used to get 3/4 of a pint of bitter, and you had the bottle of light alongside it to add to taste, basically. It wasn't dump the bottle in the glass and then fill it up from the pump. That was a proper pint of light and bitter.
But me and my mate used to chat
Scar 1 shilling 11 pence.
up. We used to chat up the guys playing darts, and we'd never really win, but we'd never really lose either because they bought us beer all night.
Well, look, I used to go down on a Sunday dinner time when it was a Sunday dinner time opening, 12 till 2:30. Simply because I was a big darts player. I was the area champion at one point for the singles. But we used to play darts games like Big Uns and Little Uns, Shanghai. You know, everybody chucked 10p or whatever in the cup, and the winner took the. And I'd quite often go down on a Sunday. I'd buy my first pint, and that was the last pint I ever fucking bought until I walked out. I'd just play darts and keep getting drinks.
No, it was always winner bought the drinks, unless it was loser buys the drinks, unless it was me and my mate. I'm not going to name her.
Shanghai cricket, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, in my days was 60p crisps, chips, and 60p can of Coke. Well,
60p for a can of Coke.
I used to go into town on a Saturday, James, when I was young and old enough to get on a bus on my own. My dad used to give me a tanner, sixpence. That used to get me bus fare in and back. It used to get me either a bag of chips or it used to get me 10 fags and cinema entrance and an ice cream, all for a tanner, sixpence.
Yeah, but you were about 11.
This is the thing, Steve. I mean, our age group, you know, we were brought up, we never had mobile phones, computers. You know, if you wanted to block somebody from something, you went up and smacked them across the chops and walked away. They knew you didn't want them near you. You know, if you wanted to call your girlfriend, it was an half-hour walk to the nearest fucking phone box. Grand, another new name in here. You had shillings back then, yeah? And half crowns. Biggest coin we ever had in them days, and I was the first one to fucking swallow one.
We didn't have farthings. They'd phased those out. But we did have the halfpenny.
Well,
proper halfpenny.
To put it into perspective, the year was when I was born, the year before, they done away with the white £5 notes.
Yeah. And we were born within 6 weeks of one another, so.
That was it, Shelley. If you had a disagreement with somebody, it was face to face. You'd have your scrap and you'd be friends 5 minutes again afterwards. You know, but now you get all this backbiting, bitching, cancelling. Oh, I'm going to report you for this, that, and the other. You know, those people that are like that wouldn't have lasted 5 fucking minutes back in my day. Not a hope in hell.
That I'm going to sue you came from America.
Oh, yeah.
Because it was all the rage over
It's their culture, it still is.
And we decided to adopt it. Worst thing that ever happened.
In the hookers, yeah. Yeah, exactly, so. You know, they can't make up who their mind is. Well, they can't even make up what fucking gender they are. But they want to fight against everybody.
Graham, do I want to ask you to explain the game?
No.
Because I don't know the game, hookers.
We haven't got time. That's 9 o'clock now. But, Grand, you choice reality there. Do I know you from another stream by another name? I get that quite often in here. Someone's popped up with another new name. Only asking because I don't recognise the name, that's all.
And there are a few people out there that we've lost.
Yeah. Oh, pun. Jesus.
Yeah, you grommed.
Is the Ludo on steroids?
Do we know you under any other name? And anybody else that's...
Yes, Gron, yeah. Well, all the others I know. Cheryl's a long-standing
I know
subscriber.
No, I was meaning Tom West. We don't know who Tom is either, do we?
I'll tell you what, James. I really hope people turn their back on him that much that it drives him out of the fucking country. I really do. I mean, he won't come out in public now unless he's got his little paid posse around him. That's why he does all his things in a factory where they can find some Labour supporters. Oh, you remember it from his art stuff. Yeah, fair enough, Grant. Fair enough, mate. But, yeah, that's why they do that. It's all crisis actors, you know. Obviously. Okay, mate. Yeah, it's my memory. It's
And mine.
unless something triggers it, it's usually screwed up. But with that, folks, we've reached my normal cut-off time, and I haven't eaten tonight, so I will need to eat before we go to bed. Most nights I'm normally in bed by 9 o'clock. I'm that fucking tired. That's why I have a kit during the day when I'm doing the live show, so at least I can make a reasonable attempt at staying awake. But as always, thank you everybody for dropping in. Thank you and welcome to the newcomers.
It's been a good night remembering some of the...
Yeah, the memory hasn't been too bad tonight. I mean, you know, I still have to make notes, so I've got a reference, and those notes trigger memories and what I want to talk about. So, yeah, that's all right, Grant. No problem, mate. No problem. But hopefully, see you all next week.
Sure will be here.
As always, most respectful crew I've found on the internet. There are one or two others I expect, but I don't go looking for them. But as always, at that time, it's good night from me.
And good night from me.
And stay safe, stay strong, and at the moment, more important, stay free. Respects, people. Look after yourselves.
Good night, all.